All right, sorry everyone. That's why you don't talk on your phone and drive, because you can't concentrate on the phone. So, thank you, AJ, for concentrating on driving. Glad you made it home. Once he'll pop on here. So let's pick up where we left off. You were telling me about the hotel and what you got going on, and I think you were telling me about your EVP that you caught on the camera.
Yeah, I was talking about that. Yeah, it was a. I was taken aback by the whole, wasn't it? It was such a lovely place, wasn't it? We walked into that chapel. There was big altars and everything still there. And it was one. I walked in and just stopped, and I looked around me and went, "Oh yeah," and literally, I walked in and just stopped, and went, "Yeah."
You were what? What was that?
So,
did you burp?
No. No.
That was weird.
So yeah, his raspy voice went, yeah. And that was caught on a
That's what the EVP was. I think we listened to that last time, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, I do have an EVP recorder, but like I say, I've caught bits and pieces on it. But I've caught some of them on the phone as well, so one of them things, you know what I mean? But
the best EVPs I've got have been from my my GoPro cam. I when I'm on investigations, I made a little mount on a hat, so it sits right here, and those have been some of the best EVPs I've got. I got one at an old theater that says something's wrong with the door. Like, it was clear as day. It's on my Facebook page, and I also got another one at the Abbey. But the when you least expect it is when the camera will pick it up, and
yeah.
That's why I love wearing a camera the whole time I do investigations, because it will pick things up that aren't there. You know, I'll be sitting in a room alone, and it will pick stuff up. It's crazy.
Yeah. I've got to go upstairs somewhere and have to look out, because I wouldn't mind getting the GoPro set up and doing a view where, even if you have it on here or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Little chest mount thing. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Because I use the camera on the phone, and I've actually got a spare mobile phone that I can use for locked off cameras. So if I can get my GoPro sorted as well, I can then have, when I go places, I can lock a camera off in the basement, I can lock one off, in an attic and stuff like that, and then I can try and pick up all the stuff at the same time.
Yeah. I don't know if we asked you this last time. What was the Three Souls Paranormal says hello everyone. Let me show it here. I don't know if you know who they are, but welcome, Three Souls Paranormal. This is Hefferman Paranormal, JK47. So welcome. If you got any questions or anything you want to input, just go ahead and type them in the comments, guys, and we'll answer them for you. So let me ask you this, Robin. What do you feel happens when we die?
Obviously there's a return the energy. Your soul, in my opinion, turns the energy, and obviously the energy then lives on. But I'm not sure about going upstairs and downstairs and stuff like that. I'm not sure about that yet.
Right. I've seen on numerous the most interesting one I ever saw was on a episode of Paranormal Caught on Camera. There was a deer that was in the road, and it a lady's little Ring camera caught the motion of the car hitting the deer, and it showed the deer get back up, and it went like 2 feet and then laid down, and then all of a sudden a mist came out and it ran off like the deer was still alive. And
Yeah, I've seen someone did a video on YouTube of that. There was someone had been, if I get it correctly now, someone I think had been knocked down and killed, and they were being taken away in the back of an ambulance, but I think they were already pronounced dead. And the car behind was following it, witnessed the mist coming out of the ambulance and hooking up into the air.
Yeah, Three Souls just joined us, and they said, yeah, they know that exact episode. So you know, it just brings that to mind. You know, what sort of energy are we storing in our body that, you know, when this transformation happens, it's so quick and so smooth. You know, it's just amazing to try to figure out.
Yeah. See, now there's my mother-in-law. She's my skeptic on my team, and that kind of stuff terrifies her, doesn't it? She says that dying absolutely terrifies her. Yeah, but at the end of the day, when you can see how people and people's energy can live on. Well, no, it's not. But at the end of the day, we're all guaranteed to do it.
Yeah, and what about the people that can tap into that energy while they're still living? You know, i.e., mediums, psychics. You know, all those people have learned to tap into that energy to talk with the energy, because if you're able to master that, you know, of course you're going to be able to communicate with that energy. You know, and I just find it outstanding, you know, and that's what keeps me going in this field. Is there a particular thing that keeps you going, that keeps you wanting to explore more?
I just think that it's a lot of times when we go out, we come across the same kind of thing each time. You know, you'll pick up on a presence, and it could be a good presence or a bad presence or whatever. But there'll always be times when you'll come across something new. And to me, I just want to keep coming across that something new. Or if I come across something that I've came across before, I want it to be stronger, and I want to be able to prove to people, not for likes or anything like that, or subscribers, but I want to be able to prove to people that, you know, to be able to say, you know, for the pictures that we have, be able to say, look at that picture. Now you tell me that's nothing.
No, your pictures are incredible. Like the one of that dark shadow is just completely amazing. And the fact that you had your skeptic actual friend go through, who is a guy that's a professional that takes pictures, you know, go through and look at it and be like, I can't explain this. You know, how did that make you feel?
It was, well, it did make me feel damn good. It made us all feel good, really, because, like I say, well, we're all three of us were there, really, on that investigation, and it's like, it makes it feel worthwhile to you. When it's different when you know, when like something I can see and I can communicate sometimes with them. But obviously, the other two can't really do that. So if I see something and I say that there's someone standing over there, and they can't see it, and it's like, well, you know, I can't then. I'm trying to prove to them that there is something there. If it's not willing to communicate, then you're going to have a hard job doing that. But if you can capture something like that, and it's, you know, what would you call it? It's like a shadow figure or whatever. Capture that without it knowing that it's being captured, or even if it's willing to be captured. You can then say, well, you tell me what that is. If you don't believe that is a ghost or that is a spirit person, then you explain to me what it is. And then obviously listen for the explanation. But a lot of them will do that, and they'll just say, well, I can't really explain what it is.
Yeah. So let's read what people said. They said, one, my wife's mom passed in 2016. At her viewing, me and my wife's aunt seen a white ball of light with 3 smaller gray balls inside of the bigger white ball. It floated above her casket. 3 souls. That's excellent. My brother recently passed in October, and we just got his funeral video. And when we went to the military gravesite, and I looked on the camera, I saw a white orb just kind of hanging out there, and then it took off. It was really good to see, because it wasn't me videoing. I was actually up there, and to see that actually happen with somebody else viewing and nobody else saw it. It was amazing. I wish I cut out that segment, but I can't due to family requests. They don't want to make it public. So, but it was an amazing thing to see, so, and I've talked to my brother many times through my SB7, and I'm totally bought into life after death. And I'm just more want to focus on like how to make our communication with them better, so we can learn from the past. I could pull up Albert Einstein and be like, hey bro, what am I doing wrong, and just ask the man himself, instead of asking like some scholar teacher, And I think the communication has gotten a lot better. I just want to clean up the sound, but I've talked to numerous people, and you've seen what I've been able to do, and and the fact is that there is life after death, and in order for people to say that there's not is a big thing. So hey, look who's on here! Look, there's Steve-O. Steve-O saying hey from Canada. What's up, Steve-O? Welcome, brother. So, Steve, still your tape. I'm still looking through it, brother. I haven't forgot about you.
It's like we said before about the energy part. They always say that houses and stuff store energy from, over the years from different tenants or buyers and stuff like that. And obviously, we as humans are going to store energy, and then when we do pass, the energy's got to go somewhere. It's not just going to linger about in a dead body, is it?
And what's funny is that's the one thing that got me started on JK47 Paranormal, is that Albert Einstein actually believed in ghosts. He said that it correlates with physics. It correlates with everything that he studied. That once energy starts moving, it will not stop. It constantly keeps moving. Because if you think about the food we eat, everything that we eat, it gives us energy, and that energy has to go somewhere. Yes. So, well, welcome aboard, you.
My apology, dude. I tell you what, like, I have the worst luck ever. Like, my road got shut down leading home, and then I get hit by traffic right after. I say, "Oh, traffic's clear, John. I'll be home, no problem." I had the worst luck ever, so I apologize to the viewers, but I am here, so please continue what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, we got Steve-O on here, and
don't you even talk to me, Robin, because I know you're going to say something like, how many minutes?
You're only what? 40, you said 42 minutes past, didn't you? So we're quarter and a half.
Well, that's why, because you're my best friend, so that's why I get to do that.
Just to let you viewers know, AJ will be late to his own funeral.
Oh, yes, I am totally late. That's why I got another host. Have to. I think I'm going to grab another one at the end of this one too.
That is true. The mother-in-law said at least we'll be able to make contact with him before the funeral.
Hey, Julie's backing me up. That's all that matters.
Yeah, bro. So
Yes, Julie. All right, go ahead. Talk what you guys were talking about. I apologize. Didn't mean to interrupt you, and I didn't mean to end the broadcast before. I was pretty stupid that I accidentally pressed leave because I thought that meant leave, and I should have known because I've ran this so many times before, but it didn't mean leave. So, but by all means, keep going what you guys were talking about. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, man. We were just talking about energy.
How you really feel about it?
What'd you say?
I said, we know how you really feel about it.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, brother. We were just talking about our feelings on how.
You know what? I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
No, we were just talking about how we feel like energy stored in our body, and once death happens, how it moves on. And I was just explaining how that was the main thing that drove me into the paranormal, because
for some reason you're cutting out. I can't hear what you're saying all the time. Are you talking into the audio mic you have, the big one, the Yeti?
Yeah, it's right here.
Are you using that or your computer mic?
I'm using the Yeti.
Oh, you're using the Yeti? Okay, for some reason your audio is cutting out. Hold on, I'm going to take this off. See if this is the part.
Well, yours is crackling.
Yeah, go ahead. Continue your guys' conversation. My bad.
Yeah, dude. So as I was saying, like Albert Einstein, he believed in ghosts. The food we eat creates energy for our physical body to keep going, and all that energy that's stored in our bodies. Once we pass on, that energy has to go somewhere. So, and that was the one thought that was like, okay, well, let's continue on to it. And it developed me into from this scientifical mindset that AJ can testify to when I was on his podcast the very first time. And I've evolved and developed and really grabbed a hold of the actual spiritual aspect of it as opposed to a scientific one.
Yeah. I think what fascinates me as well is that a lot of people don't believe in it. And so when you know that something like that's there, it's like, well, you think to yourself, well, how can people not believe? Yeah, they have their own beliefs, and I understand that. But you think, well, you show them evidence. How can you not believe that?
Right. Well, the only thing I have to say to a skeptic is do it yourself. Go experience it for yourself. If you don't believe in it, then nothing's gonna happen, right? So go ahead, go into the old Montana State Prison. Go ahead, go into the Abbey Monastery. Just try it. What do you have to lose? That you're right, But I guarantee you're gonna find something that's gonna make you, oh crap, maybe I was wrong. There's always that one moment in your life where you were like, oh, maybe this is true. And mine happened when I was 18. That I was lucky to have it happen early in life, because it always sat in the back of my mind. Just what was that? How is that possible? I actually heard the person run. He was known as the Riverdale Runner. It's here. It's an old haunted location here in Colorado, where you go to this one parking lot and the spirit will run right by you. You hear it in the gravel. He runs right by you. You get the cold chills, everything. And it scared me to death, man. I couldn't get out of that place fast enough, and that's really the first experience I had, but it was always in the back of my mind. And, when I was able to go on this journey, that's the one thing that kept me going, is to hear that happen again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But right now, it's all about helping spirits. That's all I do. I just want to help the spirits move on. You know, there are so many trapped ones. I went 2 days without doing a session, and I asked my spirit guides, how many spirits need help moving on? They said 100. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. So I can only imagine 100 spirits down here in the basement just waiting to get passed on, you know, because I believe in it and I know it works, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, I totally agree with what you were saying, John. Like when people say that they're skeptic to me, like my cousin's friend who's upstairs right now with him, I showed him, you know, the recent videos of the, you know, what did we eat for dinner? I asked my father out through the spirit box, and he said rib, and that was the actual main course we had. It was the only words that came out of the box the whole entire time, which I was totally shocked about. And then when they said my last name as well, which is totally crazy. And I showed him upstairs, and I'm like, dude, you know, that's undeniable proof. Like we're scanning with this PSB7, which is basically a hacked radio with white noise built in at 150 milliseconds. I'm like, that's like if you went in your car and you literally just turned the dial and made sure it was at 150 millisecond speed while you're going through the frequencies, and you have the same voice coming through, you know, over multiple frequencies. And I say to him, like, how can you still not believe? I mean, my last name is not going to come over the radio, and it's not going to come over multiple sweeps with the same exact voice. You know what I mean? So I totally agree with what you're saying. I tell them go out and experience it. You're absolutely right. I mean, what do you tell people, Robin?
I just say to them, look, you know, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else because I'm not. We're all in the same job. We're all doing the same thing. But it's like just look at the instance. Just you know, show them a couple of pictures or whatever, and say that. Well, if that's not a spirit, then tell me what it is, because it's a shadow figure. It's not one of us. Yet people will say, well, we weren't there. We can't prove that. I get that part of it, but I'll always state at the start of my videos how many people are there and who it is. And normally it's the three of us. And, you know, it's like, well, that's not any of us. So you tell me who it is then.
Yeah.
You'll always get somebody to turn around and say to you, oh, you've got somebody outside.
Yeah.
You've got somebody setting it up. That winds me.
Yeah.
Because there are groups that do that.
Yeah, there is. But it's like, you know, if the first thing I'll do is when I go to a building, I'll do a complete scout of it first, make sure there's no homeless or, you know, any people that shouldn't be there and stuff like that. And then I'll start doing the video, but I've always done a sweep of the area before we start so that I can guarantee and I can say, right, you know, it's an abandoned pub, for instance, so it's not going to be a massive place, but I've walked around it, I've had a look at it, you know, in the toilets part of it, and behind the bar, in the cellar, upstairs, I've had a look everywhere, and there's nobody else in here. So if there's a noise caught or there's a photograph caught of a spirit like that, I'll be like, well, there's three of us here, so, you know, tell me what that is then.
You're always going to get people say, oh, you've got somebody outside.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes, you know, when we go and me and Kyle go back to the car and you go and do it alone.
Yeah.
People, anything happens, people are going to turn around and say to you, oh, well, that's them that's out there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You can't win. You can't win
on whatever you do, but all you can do is just tell them the truth.
Yeah.
We don't falsify stuff. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, Robin, I wanted to actually ask you. I wanted to ask your mom-in-law a question. I wanted to ask her. So, I know that you're the skeptic of the group that Robin always tells me. So, tell me, like, what have you thought since doing this with him? Because I mean, you've caught some great pictures with him. I mean, like, I'm still shocked, and some of them, I'm like, how still a skeptic? So.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm expecting. I mean, there's probably some things on, like when I was a child. He's asked me things about when I was a child, or rather, he's told me stuff about my house when I was a child and brought up, which probably knew nothing about. And I find that intriguing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's not. I
No, you do believe, but you want that final piece of evidence. You want someone to come up to your face in front of you on a camera and go, hello, and it's like,
yeah, you want. So I do and I don't. I do want to see my mum standing there or my husband standing there, but I don't. If that makes sense. Because
So-
I know I would be.
So
I
let
would
me share.
crack.
Let me share this with you guys. So this summer I was at the Elks Lodge down in Cannon City in Colorado. That's where I got one of the most incredible EVPs, was at the theater by the Elks Lodge. But at the Elks Lodge, when I did my first EVP, we had two people with us that, it was their first ghost hunt, and the husband was pretty skeptical and stuff. And we were up on the second floor, and he's sitting there with his K2 meter walking around, and his K2 meter goes off. He's like, this thing's going off a little. He feels somebody grab his arm. I was sitting on the bench behind him. I saw him like kind of grab his arm and look behind him, and he was looking for his wife, who was like 50 feet away from him, and he started backing up towards her saying, did you touch me? Did you touch me? And I was like, no, bro. She wasn't even close to you. So, seeing that point when a skeptic actually experiences something that most of us haven't even been touched, seeing that happen in person is amazing.
Something happened to me here at Robbins when I was staying, when Julie was having her last chemo, and I stayed here. I was in bed, and I woke up, and I felt somebody doing this to me on my face.
our spirit box, it was your husband, wasn't it?
Yeah, and when we asked Spirit Box, the next day, was it?
Yeah.
They said it was my husband.
Wow.
Yeah,
See,
Yeah,
I could
spirit boxes are awesome. I love a spirit box.
on the side of my face.
yeah.
I don't
tell
know
you,
what I'm. I think what I'm probably expecting too much to see that person standing there to say to me, "I'm here." You know what I mean?
of course. Yeah, I
yeah,
totally get. I totally get what you mean when you said like you want to see it, but you don't want to see it. Because it's scary. I mean, like for my most profound experience, and I mean, I was an extremely big skeptic even after I had a demonic attachment from a Ouija board when I was 16. That had massive amount of effects in my life and all this stuff. I still didn't believe, and it took to the point where I had a girl appear at the foot of my bed, and she was solid, and you could feel the energy in the room. And then I just thought I was crazy. And then 2 weeks later, it happened in front of my family in the dining room, in front of my family, my grandmother, like everybody, and like literally, she was solid. And watched her dissolve and disappear. Like I can't. Like after that, it's like whoever doesn't believe after something like that, it's like you're just either stupid or you just don't want to acknowledge it. But it is very frightening, like you said. It's very frightening to see something like that.
I've heard kids laughing, giggling, and things like that when I was in Ireland quite a long while ago. I woke up in the night and I could hear kids. But it sounded like 2 or 3 children sitting there going like that. And I'm thinking, well, I've got the grandson here. Is he talking in his sleep like that? But he wasn't. And when I looked up on the information, that area that we lived, there was a lot of kiddies that was died or killed around that area.
Oh,
Wow.
But that didn't scare me. Although I did sleep with the light on. I did sleep with the light on all night. But it didn't scare me to that extent that I don't want to be there.
of course.
And, we've lived in a lot of houses as well, haven't we, Robin, with different things.
I think, to be
But
honest with
that's
you,
what it is with me.
I think with you, and I've kind of worked this out with you over a period of time. It's though I say that you're my skeptic of the team, you are, but you're not a skeptic that you don't believe in it. You just want more proof. You do believe in it, and you do believe in what you've seen and what you've felt and what you've heard before. But you're like really, you're just wanting more and more and more and more.
And I think when I was a kid, we messed about with a Ouija board. And I think that scared me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, and I feel, because I did suffer a long while from when I hurt nerves and things like that. And I'm wondering, was it to do with all that? Because I was only a kid then, and that really scared the hell out of me.
No, I know. I know from experience. You're absolutely right. And I tell you what, it's like I feel like skeptics, like some skeptics, like even after they witness stuff like how I did, I feel like I personally chose to shut it out because I did want to believe, but I didn't want to believe. You know, I didn't want to give into that. But it's like you said, sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I want to believe, but you try and shut it out as well. But you
Yeah.
don't want to shut it out too. So I can't really explain it properly.
No, of course. I mean, I was having this conversation with John and Robin, and I said, I think the reason why a lot of people don't like that are skeptic and they don't want to like try this work out, I think a lot of it has to do with people's upbringings and our upbringings with religion and stuff like that. Like, oh, don't mess with it, it's demons, you know, and like people get really scared. Like, even if you're a skeptic, you still have kind of a fear, like, you know, I don't want to mess with that. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what's going to happen. And I really want to, like, my whole goal as an investigator now is not just to help spirits cross over, but to basically like show the world that the paranormal is not all demons and stuff like that. Like, yes, you can call negative energy in, just like you deal with regular human beings that are negative. But there's a lot of love. There's a lot of good stuff that is in this, and that it's safe to do. You just need to have knowledge, you know, not just go in it blindly and call spirit to Ouija
I do
board.
worry about the demon side of it, in case I bring something back. That scares me.
Of course.
And when we go on a ghost hunt, I feel more comfortable. I know it sounds stupid, and I don't know disrespect to anybody, any of us that go. I feel better when you're in a big group.
Of course.
I think
Everybody.
when you're on your, when there's a couple of you, you feel vulnerable.
Yeah. No, you know what?
See, I with you.
No, there's no way I go off on my own. No.
But come on,
You know-
you're a skeptic. You don't believe in it.
Yeah, no, you know what's crazy about what you just said? You know what's crazy about what you just said is a lot of us do this same thing when we go in the ocean. We're like, okay, well, I'll go in if there's a group of people, but I'm not going to go out past a certain depth unless there's people in the water because it's like less chances for you to get attacked by a shark. You know what I mean? And
As far as
everybody will
I'm
think,
concerned, the ocean doesn't exist. I will never go in that thing.
oh no, after my boat got chased when I was younger with a shark on my grandfather's boat, I'll never go back in the water again. But especially with all the way that the great whites are coming up our way too. So I would never. But I tell you what, like you're right. And you know what's weird about the whole group thing is that I thought the same thing. I was safer in a group. But when I had my Ouija board incident when I was 16, 15 years old, like I thought the spirit would only follow one person home, you know, like, oh, it couldn't follow a bunch of us home. Well, I wasn't the only one who got followed home. Two other people got followed home on top of me, and we had the similar experience. The only difference was since I was the one who truly challenged it and called it basically a joke, it really wreaked havoc in my life. And thank God it didn't do to others what it did to me. But I tell you what, like, you're absolutely right. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, oh, if we're in a group, we're safe, you know? Which, you know, I just think a lot of it has to do with not disrespecting this work and disrespecting these beings because they are just like us. They're human, you know, they're just without a physical body. So, you know, you're going to get the good ones and bad ones.
Yeah, I'm one of these ones that I prefer it with a small group because if you have a bigger group, you've got more chance of having like, you know, people will say, well, right, okay, that noise is
but I don't mind a small, well, I don't even know how to explain it. If four of you are all going and say they're doing their bit in their build, they're on the flat side of the building, and we're doing our bit on our side, I'm still all right.
Yeah. I just think, obviously, that the more people you take, then the more chance you have of someone saying, well, that noise could be...
That is why we stop going out with other people, because you don't know if they're setting you up.
Yeah, the thing about it is, there's a couple of ones we've been out with. Yeah, there's a couple of ones that we go out with that we trust all the time when we up with.
A couple that I knew damn well that they weren't.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I trust them as investigators, and you know, I'll I'll be in contact with them over Messenger and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's like I try and stick in my own little bubble, and I'll go out with them sometimes. But I like to do most of the investigations on just with our team, and just keep it that way with just us. And you know, like I say, some of them will say, yeah, we'll go out and we'll do one and stuff like that. Ain't got a problem with that. But I like
going out with us. It just scares me.
I know it does.
But I don't want to be scared.
No, I know you.
That's the annoying thing. I go and I think I'm going to go and
There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of. I am not afraid of any spirit. I will go into the deepest, darkest hole, and I will sit there all night. Yes. Yes.
No, that's absolutely not true, because when I went into the devil worshiper cell, you wouldn't even come in it. So I don't even want to hear it. I don't even
Yeah. How was your year? I listened to my spirit guides.
listen. My year was great.
Yeah, okay.
My year was horrible. My year was
Ever
horrible.
place
He's
you
absolutely-
sat in that cell. Fuck you.
Yeah, I should not have done that. I should not have done that, but I didn't treat it with disrespect.
To be honest, like we
Spirit guide. No,
Yeah,
say that again.
I believe in my spirit guides. I know they have my back now. I am 100 since the old Montana State Prison. I have grown by 1,000%, and I am completely confident in my spirit guides protecting me. And it's that belief in that higher power that something's going to protect you. That's what it is. If you learn to communicate with your guides, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll find out for you. Hey, Jay,
You know that. Yeah.
she wants to know who your spirit guides are. I said you'll find out for her.
Oh yeah. Well, we could do a session to find out probably, and also when I schedule the thing with my medium for you guys, I will definitely add her to the list as well and get all three of you a session with her and stuff, so you guys can talk to her and see who she could pick up, and if you want to pick up your guides, definitely. But right now, the one thing that I tell everybody, like everyone's like, oh, I want to find out my spirit guide names, I want to find out all this stuff, right? Well, the thing is that they're going to give you a name that's going to be relatable to you most likely. Who it's not most likely going to be their real name, because they've had multiple lives according to them. And that's how they become very wise in consciousness, they say. So a lot of people are like, I want to find out their names. The thing is that you can actually name them yourself, but start getting used to calling on them. Whether you have the names that come through a spirit box or not, you could just call them your guides and call on your guides, and they will always be there with you because they're with you your whole life. That's what I was telling John in the beginning before he's at the point he's at now. I mean, he has grown like exponentially. I mean, when I first met him, he was like spirit guides. He didn't believe in any of that. And now, I mean, to see the growth and the connection and the stuff that he has done, I mean, still does. I mean, I'm like, I felt like I was sensei at first, and now I feel like I'm going to him for more advice. That's serious. No, that's serious. So it's great to see.
Once you can snatch the pebble from my hand.
I got to go back to the basics. Stop sticking flies,
What we were saying as well about working with other groups, I think it's good sometimes because you can see how other people work and what equipment they use and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that kind of part of it is good. And I still do keep in touch with some of the ones over here, and we'll do the odd investigation together. But I do like the smaller the better for team wise. And
absolutely,
like my mother-in-law was saying, she won't go off on their own. I love that. If I get a chance to go off on my own, I'm going.
Oh, of course. I mean, even spirit, wherever we go, I mean, spirit likes it a lot when you're on your own, no matter what haunted place you're in, because you're going to have an experience more by yourself than you are with a group. The only difference between a group and by yourself is that there's more eyes to notice something happening. Whereas when you're by yourself, you may miss something that you didn't even recognize. I mean, John, when we were in Montana, we were in that tunnel, and the medium told us, like, there's a spirit in there you have to cross over. It's very desperate, right? We felt like we got like no evidence. And then as I reviewed it and you reviewed it, you're like, oh my gosh, we didn't just get the Polaroid. I got like light anomalies coming around me, and I told you I felt like somebody was running around me, looking through the bars on my phone. So you're absolutely right. Going with a group is good. Not going with too big of a group. That's why I don't like how Ghost Hunt brings like 20, 30 people. I think you should go a little smaller. But I do think the smaller groups like that are good. You'll have more of an intimate reaction, you know?
Dude, the best 6 hours of my life, the most evidence I've ever caught was at that prison. And it was just two of us in this huge prison, and the spirits knew it. And when we, for the last hour, we went to the warden's office, and I set the cat balls up on if you watch the video, I set the cat balls up, and we immediately started asking questions. They didn't care. They just set off the cat balls to responses to our questions. And AJ and me were just freaking out. You know, we were happy to help them out. So
listen, Robin, there was a place in the wall in the warden's room that had like a square box, and it was in the wall. So I told John, put a cat ball in the wall there, because if any skeptic says, oh, maybe it's a breeze, maybe something's moved, that's how the ball's lighting up. Well, in this hole, there is no breeze because it's a hole in the wall that's literally made for something. So it's all blocked off from any air getting in. And they were
even the ball on the ashtray went off, and that was in the corner of the room. There was no air vent, nothing to set it off, and they both went off at the same time.
I didn't first think that those cat balls were a great idea, because I figured, oh, skeptics and people are going to be like, oh, you know what, that's just going off to go off, right? But I put that thing on the counter, me and Derek, and we were slamming our fists next to it, and that thing took a lot to go off. So for them to go off on command, like especially Lee Smarts up in the Death Tower, that was just amazing. It really was. I mean, on command, whatever one we would tell him to do, he would light up. I mean, it was absolutely.
Even my private investigations at people's homes, you know, like I'll set it on a blanket, and I'll be like pounding on the table, kicking the floor, everything. It won't go off. I start my session asking questions. It sets it off. No problem.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, like, Robin, for you, how many people do you normally go out with? I mean, I know you go out with your mother-in-law who's next to you, but who else sometimes? Is it just you two, or do you always bring three with you? How many normally, I should say?
There's normally three of us. There's me and the mother-in-law and our son Kyle. The mother-in-law, obviously, she's got quite a few problems with her knees and stuff, haven't you? So if we've got to climb in anywhere, then she sits in the car, and me and Kyle will go in. But if it's easily accessible, they will go in. I have worked the odd time with Northwest Ghost Adventures over here as well. We've done a few investigations with them, and like I say, with them, we've been in a bigger group, not too big of a group, but in a bigger group where, you know, the mother-in-laws felt more comfortable and stuff like that. And obviously, there's more energy being used from everybody as well. So we've got a collective. We did that joint one together when you basically lost yourself. If you remember. I mean, for her being a skeptic, and this was amazing for me. There was a lady from Northwest Ghost Adventures. She got taken over by a spirit, and she was gone. And we had to help her outside and try and get her back. And I mean, like I say, you've seen the mother-in-law. She's one of the biggest skeptics of that. And when we went back in afterwards, and we went upstairs into they called it the witch's room in this pub, and we sat around this big table, and we were all sitting and we were asking out for stuff and all this here, and I happened to look over at her, and she was gone. She can't remember a thing for about 5 minutes.
Wow.
I think he's lying.
And you were gone.
I was worried.
And it's like, when something like that happens to someone like her, it's like, well, there you are then. You know, you can't be skeptical about it. It's just lost 5 minutes of her life.
I think still put a barrier up. Yeah.
Well, you do, but they obviously get through your barrier. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Well,
it's like, you know, the more things, I'm one of these ones. They call me, they call me sick and stuff like that for a laugh. But you know, the more things that happen, the better.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I actually get that, but I think I don't know what it is. I do believe because I've had experience certain things. But it's like, oh, I don't know.
You're looking for that extra piece of evidence, aren't you?
Yeah, every time you're looking for more, although you don't want to see it, but you do.
Yeah.
I just can't explain it.
See, I tell you what, I like the fact that you guys have somebody in the group that you consider your skeptic. And the reason that is like for me and Derek in our group, like we both are believers. Okay. And I like the fact when you have somebody who is on the fence, like, yes, they want to believe, but still they will be the most rational thinker in the world and try to say, no, that's not paranormal. That's not paranormal. Because I feel that one, that doesn't just make you more credible, but it helps you with your research because it makes you question more. Whereas I'm at the point in my research after doing it for almost this 8 years here. And I tell you what, I'm at the point where I'm not here to prove a ghost is real. Like I know that with all my heart after all my experiences. I'm more here to do other things, and I've gotten past that point. Not that I won't still look at things in a scientific aspect, because even when John comes with me things, I question him or I question Robin. But the thing is that I like to have somebody in the group who's like you, because that gives more authenticity to your research and to yourselves as people, I think, in my opinion. But what do you think, John?
I've only done like real investigations by myself. The only other person like that I had come along was you at the Montana State Prison, and then when I go to the Abbey, the people that are there. But most all my investments.
Yeah, what's your opinion on it though?
I think I do better by myself. I personally like a small group, like maybe 2 people at the most. Because if you get too many people, people are going to be like, oh, well, the cameraman was behind the door, moving the door or something, and if you're by yourself, then they can't argue that.
No,
And I always put cameras like at certain angles where it can cover the whole room just to show you I'm by myself,
Yeah.
And a funny thing that happens in our group the odd time as well, it's not all the time, but sometimes, like, you could be in like an abandoned mansion or something like that, and there'd be a long corridor, and we'll be standing maybe at the end of the corridor ready to go down, and we'll hear a bang or a noise or footsteps from down there, and I'm like, right, we need to go. And my mother-in-law should be like, no, we're not going down there. I'm like, no, I know you don't want to go down there, but you need to go down there, and she will go down with us, but it's like, you're trying to say, right, you don't, but you need to, and that's the way you're going to get it. But I've started doing as well with a lot of my videos now, where, like Steve said a while ago, when we do the initial video, I then send them out to the car. I say, go and sit in the car and wait on me, and then I'll do a lone vigil around the place again. And obviously people come around and say, well, they're not really going to the car. They actually are. They're going.
When I'm there, I'm back at the car.
But it's like they're gone. I don't even start a video until I actually know they're off the property and off the.
Of course.
And then I'm there on my.
No, absolutely. And I think that's good that you do that. I mean, like I said, that even brings authenticity to the research as well, because that there's not going to be any contamination. Somebody may accidentally talk under their breath and might pick something up, or, I mean, I had to, recheck video sometime when I was out with Derek, and, he like whispered something to himself, not even realizing he did it. And I did the same thing one time. And I think I looked back at the video without, saying, oh, that EVP, because you could do some stuff can happen like that when you're with too many people. So I totally understand. And it's sad, like I was saying before when John was talking, that, a lot of people now on, with YouTube getting so big and with being so big and all these exploration people trying to say they're paranormal investigators and researchers now, and them getting caught, like some of them got caught, faking stuff with people behind doors. It brings a harder element to what we do, to show that, listen, we care about this work. We do this with passion. I know both of you take this work very seriously. And the last thing you would do is go out and fake something. Like, I know you guys well enough that would not happen. I mean, even myself, I would get so mad at somebody if I was out and I saw them fake something on camera. I would literally, I don't care if you're my best friend or not. If I see that on camera, you're trying to discredit my work and other really good researchers that are out there that are well known and not well known. And I think that's a disrespect to people's loved ones, and as well as the spirits that aren't, people's loved ones that we don't know, and I think that's such a disrespect. So that's why I'm happy I have great friends like you guys that I don't have to worry about that. But it's sad that YouTube has made that for
No,
this
I hate
field.
those YouTube guys that take other people's evidence and then make their greatest videos. And,
Yeah.
I block them. I discredit them. I don't even want to see them because it just makes me so mad that they just sit at home in their basement with their donuts on their belly, just like making their own crap, I hate that crap.
Yeah, a lot of them wouldn't be caught dead in there.
There's another point that Muller knows just made. Just say what you said there a minute ago about if you thought that me and Kyle were.
It's like if I ever thought that Kyle or Robin were making stuff up when we went out, there's no way in a million years that I would ever go out again with them.
Of course.
Because I know damn well that would be fake. And to me, we're not fake, believe you me.
Oh, no, I know.
What is the point? What is the point of making stuff up just to get people to get views on you? I mean, we go to places and you don't get nothing.
Oh,
And
yeah, all the time.
You just say, oh, well, you're faking it all. There's not, there's nothing there, so you're not picking up on anything. But just because a place is reportedly haunted doesn't mean you're going to pick up on anything when you go. And that's how I feel anyway. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know.
I totally agree with you. And I know John agrees with you too. Totally agree. I mean, I would never be caught dead with somebody who fakes stuff. I think that's the most disrespectful, wrong thing in the world. And, I take this research, John takes this research, and you take this research, Robin, with your team as well, that you guys take this stuff very seriously. And that's who the people I want to surround myself with, because there is something going on. Whether we can call it unexplained, want to call it spirit, Buddha, Allah, it doesn't matter. There is something going on, and this physical energy inside of us that makes us leaves our body. And, like I tell a lot of people, like, if you don't believe that, just go, next time you go to a funeral, unfortunately, look, be up at that casket and tell me that you feel that your loved one or your friend or whoever you're there for, tell me you feel that person really in that body. Because I know when I walk up to a casket of a loved one or a friend, I know that they're gone. I know they're not in that casket. I know they're not there. Even if their body is there, I know because I could feel that their energy is completely gone. And, it's just, I don't know. I mean, maybe not everyone feels that, but I mean, I feel it because I'm an empath, but I just don't know. I mean, like I try to tell people, feel that, so.
No, man, I think you're perfectly right. I mean, I don't know how much time you wanted to go to, but we're almost at an hour now.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I just want to go 15 minutes more unless you got to run. If you got to run, that's totally cool. I could always take it over for the last 15. I appreciate you, helping me with while I wasn't here. But yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to go another 15 minutes just because I want to ask a couple more questions to him.
Just wasn't sure
Thanks.
if you could see the time or not.
Yeah, no, yeah, I actually could. 52:50 or 53 now. So,
Okay.
Robin, what I wanted to do, I wanted to ask your mom, like, or your stepmom, I mean, not stepmom, mother-in-law. I'm sorry, apologize. I wanted to ask you and her, right? What is your favorite equipment when you go out with Robin? Do you like the spirit boxes? Do you like the images? Because I know you take most of the images. So tell me what's the most favorite thing that Robin does that you like being a part of?
Oh God. I'm not so much, I don't know, the next necrophonic to me can be a bit false because you don't know what it's picking up from your phone.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But also, we have had some direct hits on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
That meter, obviously, the
millimeter, the K2.
The K2, obviously.
K2, yeah.
The thing when it, it's gone up, it's gone down, or whatever.
But then you like it a lot when I go in on something and I start.
But I also like it, when Robin starts zoning in on things.
Because you'll basically ask questions to me.
Yeah, then I can ask questions through Robin, and then sort of get my proof in that way.
You know what's
Absolutely.
funny about the session that we did with for you guys is that number one, it said when you take your pictures to try to sit down. And the second thing was that I swear it said that Robin was on his way to becoming clairvoyant, which is a huge step in the paranormal world. So
Yeah, I mean, some people have that ability. Like my ability, I have clairvoyance, but it's the one of the lowest with clairaudience. So my main one is clairsentience, which is feeling and a knowing and stuff like that. And my family experiences it with me constantly, where I'll come up to them and just have a knowing of something, and they'll be like, "How did you know that?" Or being an empath, I'll walk into the room and I'll know that my aunt and uncle just fought. Or if someone's mad at me, I know when they're mad at me. Like, yeah, I can feel energy in the room. It's really creepy. It really is. Because I get affected by other people's energy. But you know what? If they said that to Robin, I think that's amazing because, clairvoyance is a great thing to have. It's just a matter of knowing the symbols that they're showing you to interpret what they're actually trying to tell you, So
it'll be interesting to see what Sam says too about it.
absolutely.
You want me to answer that question as well?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Elaborate on it.
Oh, we got greetings from South Australia Paranormal. Hello,
Hey,
Andrew.
Hello.
Guys, how are you,
Welcome.
mate? I am so jealous of Australian people because they have one of the coolest accents along with the UK, and I have no accent. So I know I'm
Yeah, you got an East Coast accent. What you talking
I-
about over here?
hey, Obi, how you doing? But anyway,
How you doing?
I mean, it's just definitely, I love Australia. I want to go there one day. I really do. But sorry, Robin, elaborate on what we were talking about. I got sidetracked.
No, you're all right. I like the spirit box part of it.
Yeah.
To me, yeah, it can be, but it's like there's times when we'll go in places, and I think the last time it happened was in that 2 million mansion in Blackburn, and I started getting a feel of the family who had been there, and the lady had died, and that she was European, she was Spanish actually, and I started being able to piece together what what happened, and how they were married, and that obviously that then he had then sold the house because she had died. He didn't want to be by himself and stuff. And I like things like that when they come to you, but it doesn't happen everywhere. Which is one of the things that if I could change it, I would change it to where that a wish of mine basically would be that everywhere we go to, I'll walk in and they'll all be like, right, we want to talk, and I'll be able to do that.
Get that, are you?
But you're not going to get that everywhere you
That's
go.
what people expect. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
And this is why the spirit box, I think, well, obviously, it sort of invites them, it sends that frequency and that signal out that they can then come in on.
Somebody could have gone to a place, say somebody came here and picked up on a load of stuff, and then another group has come here, nothing.
Yeah.
And people say, well, they got something the other night, why aren't you getting it? You're not real then, are you? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what,
But it's not going to happen on command every single time.
No,
That's
that's
just,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
We could go to place, we could travel 2 or 3 hours away and completely get nothing.
yeah. And we'll have them.
And we have done, that's what I'm saying. And we've gone other places and you've got loads and loads.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
hit and
I
miss.
agree. Went out and got nothing either. I mean, just like John, I mean, we got lucky that Montana. We really did, because we could have been there, John, that whole night. We could have got nothing. But that night was very active.
Yeah, and I think it was because it was a new moon, so it was even darker than dark. And the one thing that we figured out was that the more light there was, the less activity there was. So the darker you can create your environment, the better.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, that to me,
Intrepid says we always say we haven't.
yeah, we always, you guys do. Well, I hear that a lot from people. Even, I mean, Robin said something when I first met him as well about it, because I said how much I loved the UK accent as well, and that's so funny. I would love to talk to you guys though after one time, because I absolutely love Australia and I would love to visit. But to go back, what I wanted to say to you, Robin, was you know, me and Derek, we go out and like we got lucky in Montana, like I was just saying, but me and Derek have went out before and we've been like, wow, you know, like I really had thought tonight was going to be a good night. And we literally got nothing. Thank the Lord. Like we got some responses through the spirit box, but you know, if there's not more evidence than just that, I don't really want to post it if I go to a location, you know, I mean, unless it's really good spirit box sessions.
They
Absolutely.
said love
Absolutely.
to catch up.
But one question I wanted to ask you, Robin, is so me and John have been talking about this a lot lately, like about frequency and about you know, we were trying to figure out exact frequency that they're using, and we know that they're tapping into the frequencies of the radio band that's sweeping and manipulating the audio. But I'm starting to think, after all the research that I've been catching up with and what my spirit guides have been saying and what we've been noticing, is that I kind of think that they're not manipulating the words sometimes and using the audio. I think they're actually just using the frequency. What is your opinion? First, I'll go with Robin, and then John, I want you to answer after him. But what do you think, in your opinion, from what you've done?
I think it's definitely a frequency. They're definitely working off a frequency, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people are trying to get at. These inventors and stuff that are, you know, they're bringing out these, you know, like portals and geoports and stuff like that. And I think that there's a frequency that people are trying. I mean, John's even said himself, and you have AJ as well. They're trying to tap in and find that perfect frequency. And once you get that perfect frequency, you should have a perfect conversation. But it's obviously there is one somewhere there that needs to be obviously found and zoned in on and tweaked and stuff. And once you get that, then you'll get the conversation that people want to hear.
Absolutely, absolutely. John, what's your opinion? I know I've spoken on this with you every single day, but I want you to elaborate for the people at home, you know. And
that was my phone. As far as the frequency goes, based on research I've done over the last year and a half, is I cracked my phone. That's not good. Is that they talk between 800 and 1700 megahertz is when their voices come through. And the fact that I can't get rid of the white box noise, I'm working on it, but I know the frequency range to get rid of that. And, you know, I think if I integrate the UHF, VHF, it's gonna help them. So
yeah, I totally agree with what you're doing. See, for me though, like I personally have been believing that these frequencies on the radio band that we're getting with the PSP7 and that people are getting around the world and stuff, a lot of researchers, screw that phone. No, sorry, I had to comment on that. But what I'm thinking is that these spirits, right, these entities or whatever you want to call them, their energy, right? So Nikola Tesla always stated that, like, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, you want to know vibration, frequency, and energy, or whatever the other thing he said was. I know it was vibration and frequency. So I think with them being vibrational beings, I think they're lowering their vibration and their frequency and being able to tap into the frequencies of the radio, making it able to communicate through sweeping and manipulating some audio. But when I got that prime rib response, when I asked what main course we had, if my family was really with us on Christmas, and the only answer that came through was prime rib. If you listen to the voice on that video that I posted, you can hear the electronic sound that does not sound like a radio voice that they manipulated. It sounds like an electronic voice that came through the frequency that they're using. And I'm thinking that, John, if we made that, you know, frequency, like I was telling you, if we could somehow get to the frequency that's where they actually are at from, you know, what they're telling us, and I hope we can, I think we're going to be able to do what Marcello Bacci, you know, was doing and have direct voice, you know, communication through a radio or through some kind of device with frequency, like I was telling you guys. And I think that's, you know, that's absolutely amazing. And I wish that Marcello Bacci was more famous nowadays for what he did, because he literally would turn the radio on, was studied by scientists, studied by the FBI, and they couldn't figure out, it was unexplained, and he would turn on this radio and he would turn to a station, and all of a sudden the static would just disappear and a voice would come out, and they would speak for minutes on hand, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, whatever. They would first say knowledge about our life and what we're here for, and then loved ones would come through, and it was a single voice in their voice most of the time. And I find that fascinating, and I think as researchers we could start doing that. I mean, don't you guys? I know from talking to you we can, but I believe that we can make this happen.
Definitely.
John, you're muted.
I'm getting there. I just, it just takes time, and that's what Spirit told me, is that it's patience. They're gonna help. It's just they don't understand because they don't have brain. They can't just say go get this. They don't know what it is. And I think it's that collective. The more you talk to them, the stronger your connection comes with them. Yep. The more the voices are gonna come through. Like, from 6 months ago to now, I'm getting, full, complete sentences as opposed to yes, no answers.
No, yeah, I've seen it from firsthand. I mean, so am I now, and I'm very shocked that I just took your advice from what you were telling me, from what you did for yourself, and it's been happening to me too. And
Trish Johansson says hi, AJ.
Yeah. Hey, Ma, how are you? Happy, well, I don't know if I got to say Happy New Year's to you, but Happy New Year's to you if I didn't, and I hope you feel better. Everyone, that is Steve-O's mom, and she's not feeling real well right now. She's sick with pneumonia, so let's please, everyone that's watching and everyone who will watch, please send your prayers out to her, and hope that she gets better. Definitely, we love you, and I will definitely talk to you later today. But Robin, what I want to say was, did you get your new spirit box in yet?
Not yet. No, I'm not happy.
Oh wow. Wow, yeah, I can imagine. Okay, so I can't wait to see when you do, because Spirit's been telling me a lot, where I said to you multiple times that your connection is going to start blowing through the roof too, with Spirit Box responses as well, like it has us. And being able to have this, these guides to knowledge about, it puts and gives us directions to go in as researchers. And I really want to take this to the next level with you guys, like I always tell you guys, and I think we're going to do it, and I hope we can do it. Because I really, like I said, I want to prove to people that there's something going on, that we are more than this. Even if you don't believe in ghosts or religion or spiritual stuff, that's fine. But I want to make people think deeper. I mean, what is your thing, Robin? What is your goal as a researcher? What do you want to do as a researcher? What is your main goal?
I want to prove to people, obviously believers and non-believers. I want people to be able to look at our evidence as a collective, as obviously you, John, me, and anybody else in the international group and stuff like that. And I want us to be able to catch evidence and put it on there and say, say to people, look, you tell me what this is, and have people say, that that's phenomenal. That's just, and obviously the more we look into this and the more we can design and invent things to use and stuff like that, then the better it's going to be. And it's obviously going to take time. It's not going to be done overnight, but it's just, to put it on there and say, right, well, this is what we've caught. We believe, we 100% believe that this is what it is. If you think you know better or you can break it down, then you tell me. And when people do that, and it has happened, and that's what's a very rewarding part of this job, is when people come back to you and they say, like the guy who done that photograph for me, and he broke it down right to the point where he could actually see the heat spots that I sent it to you. And he said to me, he says there is absolutely no explanation for that. And he's not a believer. He's actually an urban explorer. He doesn't do paranormal. He doesn't like it. We went out a couple of times, and when I started doing the paranormal, he went off on his own taking pictures. He does not like the paranormal. But when I told him about that photograph, he says, well, send it to me. He says, I'll break it down for you. He says, I'll get to the bottom of it. And it was about 2 or 3 days, wasn't it, I think, before he got back to me. Yeah. And he says, no. He says, I cannot. He says, I've done what I can with that picture. He says, I've used all different kinds of software. He says, and I have pulled that picture apart. And he says, I can't explain that. He says, I'm going to give you that one. And
Hey, guys,
that made me feel good.
I gotta
All
go,
right,
man. So
Totally
it's
understand,
good
man.
to
Thank
see you
you
guys.
Yeah,
Take care.
so much.
That's it, sir.
Hey, so Rob,
Yeah,
I
later.
wanted to say, but sorry, finish what you were saying. I apologize.
No, all right. It's just like, that kind of makes me feel good because, yeah, it was only one person, but that one person, I wouldn't say has went from an unbeliever to a believer, but that one person has basically has took that photograph and went, right, I'm going to prove you wrong. And,
Oh, yeah.
and he's done what he's done with that.
Yeah.
And he spent hours on end on that. And he's back to me and went, I'll give you that one. I can't explain it. And like I say, it might only be one person, but it gives you that sense of satisfaction. Well, now you're going to basically go away from here on your explores and you're going to think to yourself, am I going to see something like this everywhere I go? Because you now know that you maybe don't want to believe it, but that stuff is there.
I mean, when you get something like what you got, I mean, you didn't just get one photo with a, figure in it that's actually human defined. I mean, you got that one that we showed last time you were on that it was manifesting before that black shadow of a person came through, which I find absolutely fascinating that you were able to get that from a different angle and show it manifesting with a flash on and then have this flash on again and show actual shadow of a person in detail where you knew it was a person no matter what. Nobody could say that that wasn't a person, even if they didn't believe it was a spiritual entity or not. It would have been like, oh, that's a person. That was my first reaction when I saw it before I really got to talk to you and get to know you. And I think it's absolutely amazing. That's why I love, like I said, I love, watching your work, and I love seeing the evidence that you catch when you go out, because you definitely have a gift and you were definitely meant to do this work. And your passion, I think, also helps it and fuels it a lot as well. Before we end up going, I want to make an announcement to everybody on here. I want to first say thank you so much to you and your family for always being great to me. I want to thank your mother-in-law for coming on tonight as well. Thank you so much. Everyone, she gives out amazing haircuts. I haven't got to get one, as you can see, because my hair is long, but I'm coming for a haircut. I want the
And she'll trim your dog for you.
What was that?
And she'll trim your dog as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You're right. So I wanted to also say, though, that we have just opened up and started our International Group of Researchers Society. You could find our Facebook page at International Group of Researchers on Facebook. Like I said, it's basically we have teams from Canada right now, across the U.S., also Robin in the U.K., and we're going to be expanding. So if you feel that you and your team would like to be a part of it, I left on the Facebook page some things that you'll have to email us, and the entire team, because it is a collective, will obviously decide, whether or not which teams will enter and which teams won't. Basically, we're looking for positive people. We're looking for people that really have a passion for this work, that do not fake their evidence, that really take this work seriously and want to use our collective energy of positivity and knowledge, share it with the group. Every month we have video conferences, and we will. And, I just want to take this work and bring it into the forefront of some type of science, to show, scientists that there is something that needs to be studied. And just like Tesla said, if we studied stuff that, the stuff we couldn't see, we've learned so much more. And I know that's not the full actual quote that he said, but Tesla said a quote similar to that. And I tell you what, it is really true. And I look forward to it. Also, one other announcement that I wanted to make before we head out is our next co-host, our new co-host that will be on every podcast after this, is our buddy Robin from Halfer and Paranormal. I was super happy to bring him in. Me and John talked about it, and we would love to have him come on. So we're going to make this a 3-host podcast, just in case if one of us, has what happened to me today, since I'm going to be late to my own funeral.
What happens to you every day?
Well, yes, it happens to me every day, but I mean, I've never had friends like you guys that call me every damn day. And it's not just for 10 minutes either. It's for 2.5 hours, 3 hours we will talk. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where did my battery and time go?
but no, I love you guys. I'm super happy that I have you guys as friends. Julie, thank you so much. I'm glad that you sound like you're feeling all right today. I'm so happy about that. But Robin, I'm happy that you came on. We're going to be discussing more stuff with you, obviously, because you're going to be on our podcast now full time. So I'm super excited about that. What was that?
I'm speaking every day for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, no, every day we talk for 2.5 hours. But yeah, so everyone go to Hafren Paranormal on YouTube. Check out also his other social medias. Like and subscribe if you can. We don't look for money in this business or in this field. We basically do this because we love it. So the only thing we ask is if you could subscribe, that helps us out. If you could like a video, that also helps us out. That's the only thing we really like to ask people. Am I correct?
I'm subscribed to Coventry Circle Paranormal and JK47.
Well, you better be. No, no.
I mean, I'm not, but everybody else is.
Oh man. Oh, I see how it is.
Oh,
All right.
step out.
That's it. That's it. He's gone from the podcast. Hasn't even got on the first episode. He's gone. We're getting rid of him. No. But no, thank you guys so much for coming again. And like I said, you guys are going to be on multiple times because you know you're one of my best friends, and you guys are going to have a lot more evidence, I know, in the future that's coming this year and what's going to be coming after COVID. Hopefully, when COVID ever ends, it's going to really ripe up and intense for you, and I can't wait to watch that journey with you and get to show it with everyone. One last thing I do want to share with you, Robin, before we go, and I wasn't going to share it. I was going to talk with it with John and share it after, but we had a loved one that lied to us the other day, lied to one of us yesterday. And he's a spirit that has crossed over. We've gotten validation, not from our guides, but also not just from him, our guides or mediums as well. But he lied to one of us, and I found it fascinating, Robin, that he was able to lie to us, because when we think about heaven or we think about a spirit crossing over, most people will say there's no negative stuff, in heaven. There's no negative stuff in crossing over. Like, that's for the devil to lie. That's for demons to do that. And the fact of the matter is, when we leave this physical body, from what my research has been uncovering, yes, Intrepids, we do have links. I'm sorry not to interrupt what I was saying. We do have links. Go to Hafren Paranormal on YouTube. You can go to Coventry Circle Paranormal on YouTube, which is mine, and John's is JK-47 Paranormal Investigations on YouTube. And I believe you could find all your social medias on there, correct, Robin?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram.
Instagram, and then you can find my Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff on Facebook and Twitter. And same thing with John's. Only John doesn't have a Twitter. But what I was saying was, this spirit who was crossed over, he lied to us, right? And everyone thinks that the only demons do that and all this stuff. Well, from my research, we've been finding out that these spirits that are positive have the free will and ability to be themselves still in the afterlife. And I've proven this with the new video with my father, where he literally got upset. He asked my spirit guide, can you help me? Can you help me learn? He wanted to become a better person. And my guide told him on the video, which you'll hear a lady, which is her name, Drina. And she says, sorry, I can't help you with that. And he got very upset, and they had to call in other angels. He basically was going to fight them. And I mean, it got really crazy, which I thought was wild to listen to what was going on. And I found it really wild, Robin, that, this loved one of ours lied to one of us yesterday. But I found it fascinating because it opens up so many more avenues of what we can now research, knowing that, just because you're in heaven, or what we know of as heaven, doesn't mean that, you're just sitting there and every time a gong rings, you're bowing and praying, like a lot of people do believe from who I've talked to, which I find absolutely crazy. But, the afterlife is basically just like this physical world. The only difference is we're not able to learn over there. We're only able to learn in the school of life, which is our physical bodies that we come into, which I find crazy from what they tell us. And I want to know, what do you think of that, man? Isn't that wild? I still thought that was so crazy. I mean, what was your opinion on it? Did you think only demons could lie? You know what I mean? Or it would be a demon who would lie, or?
Oh, no. I mean, there is that belief that obviously, demons they'll lie to you to basically get in. They'll come across as being children and stuff like that as well to try and get in with you basically. But I mean, there's no saying that people who can't, you've touched on it before yourself. If you're negative in life, then you keep a negative in death. And there's no saying that if someone was known, not saying that the loved one was, but if someone in general was known to be a compulsive liar their whole life, it doesn't mean to say that when they pass that all the lies are going to stop and they're going to be truthful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're absolutely. Yeah. And
If all they've known in their life is compulsive lying, then that's not going to change. All that's going to change is they're not going to be able to be seen every day because they're going to be like a floating spirit, and they're going to be able to move about with extreme speed and go places that people can't go and stuff. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But if they come through a spirit box or a portal or something like that, there's no saying that everything's going to be a truth out of it, because. And another thing about that is, well, which is interesting even more, is that if the person was, say it was related to my mother-in-law here, right, and they were a compulsive liar all their life, and then in death they start coming through the spirit box, would you still say you'd be able to believe them?
Oh, you'd be doubting them.
Yeah, you'd be doubting everything that they say.
He was still alive, and then say something. So, oh, you was a bloody liar when you were there.
Yeah.
So you're telling lies. Still telling lies when you're there.
Yeah, there's no.
But if they told the truth, really?
There's no saying that there's a rule that when you die, that right. I'll say if you're a compulsive liar, right? I'll say it's just truth now. It's not going to happen.
They reckon you're still the same person.
Yeah. Here's one for you. Here's an example for you, right? And I'll ask you and AJ. I'll ask you as well, right? If someone in their life, I'm not going to try and zone too much in it, but say someone in their life murders another person and they're 25-year-old, right? And they spend their whole life denying that they've done it, even though they have. Does that mean that whenever they pass, if they're asked, they're going to say, actually, hold on a minute, I did do it? The likelihood is they're going to turn around and if they're talking through a spirit box or a medium, they're going to say, no, I didn't do it. Because they spent their whole life denying it.
I don't know, because I mean, like it's not going to matter really. So they may tell the truth, to be honest. I mean, we asked Lee Smart in Montana prison about all the riot that he caused, the people that he hurt, all that stuff. I mean, he was so remorseful. He's like, yes, I did this, and I feel like God's not going to accept because of it. I mean, he also stated that him and Jerry Miles were lovers. I mean, and he was worried that because he was, quote unquote gay, he thought that God wasn't going to accept him in the kingdom of heaven because of it. And that wasn't the case. Thank God we were able to cross over and show him that. And he was super happy and came back and thanked us in a separate session. Like I've told you, and you've actually heard his name come through one time and when we were doing stuff.
Yeah.
But, I just find it because there's a lot of people who are, really into the Bible that I've talked to that say to me all the time, like, basically like there is, you change when you get over there, you're whole and you're all this and stuff. But in reality, it's like you have more understanding. Yes. When you cross over, I believe, but you don't lose yourself, which I love. My dad is still the person he was when he was here as he's dead from his personality that comes through. That's why a lot of the times when we use the spirit box, I always tell everybody, don't just listen to the words that are responding. You have to look for especially when you're going for a loved one, you have to look for that personality. That's what's so fascinating about this work.
Yeah.
Is person through,
Yeah. But it's just like, I just think that, someone can be like really negative and evil all through their life and can pass and then can come back and like you said, show remorse for what they've done and beg for forgiveness and stuff like that. That's that's fine. That's understandable. But I do believe that there is other ones out there who will have, like I said, lied all their life, and they'll continue to lie in death.
Yeah.
And the one major factor in that, and you mentioned it, was that the first thing you're going to do is turn the computer spirit box and say, whatever they're going to say, and you think to yourself, you're bloody lying. You did it all. And you can't. Can you trust that person in death if you couldn't trust them all the way through life?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, but the reason why is because people believe that you gain such an understanding, especially spirits that are in heaven, especially people who really believe in the Bible hardcore and that are really, hardcore Christian. I mean, they believe that understanding changes you as a person and you are now, this better person, this better being. And what I've been finding out through our research and what, we found out is that loved one ended up coming through and telling one of us who was our family member, which one of us that it was the actual family member. And he said, I don't know why I lied. I'm sorry. You forgive me. And, the fact of the matter is, we forgave the person, whatever, because he expanded this research for us. Cause, a lot of people just think, oh, if there's a spirit that's lying to you, it's, most of the time people are going to say, oh, that's a demon, because that's the first thing that we're taught in a Bible that, oh, well, demons lie, they're mischievous, they raise hell, they do all this stuff, and they will manipulate, use your voice or, interpret your voice, or they'll act like a little kid and lure you in, which, yeah, we do that. But it's just fascinating that we got that. But I had to ask you quick, Robin. I'm going to, get going right now. It's 125 right now, about to be 126. So we went over, but I'm happy that we did. But we have another podcast coming up. I believe on the 14th. Check the event thing on Talking with the Source. Robin will be joining us as our third host. We're going to be having an old friend of mine that came on the podcast with his brother from Crazy Paranormal, and he's going to tell us some experiences and go over some of the abandoned places that he's been in. He had to give up paranormal for a little bit because he's raising a family right at the moment, which is awesome for him. And I'm proud of him for that. But I can't wait to have, talk to him, ask him some experiences, ask him some more stuff of how everything's been since, the time. And you're going to get to meet him, Robin. It's going to be great. So definitely everyone check out our our YouTube, our Facebook, our social media, especially Halfern Paranormal. Again, check out his YouTube channel, give a subscribe and a like. And it really helps us out, like I said. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Talking with the Source, and thank you guys. I appreciate you. So I'm proud to have you on the Talking with the Source crew now. This is great. I'll talk to you guys later. God bless. Everyone, take care. Bye, Julie. Bye, Ma. Bye.
Bye, Ma. Bye.